My name is Mr. Ruby. I teach 8th grade U.S. history. I started kindergarten down at Meadowbrook, and I went to kindergarten and first grade at Meadowbrook, and then I moved to Cambridge, where a lot of my family had graduated and gone to school, and I went to Lincoln Elementary from 2nd to 6th grade, and then Cambridge Junior High, and then Cambridge High School, and I got out of high school January my senior year. So I am a high school Bobcat, and for college, I went to High University. I graduated in 4 years with a bachelor's in history and government education, 7 through 12. And then after a few years, I enrolled again, master's degree, and I graduated in special education with a master's degree from High University. What I like teaching about history, I've always been very interested in U.S. history. I travel up to a lot of the locations that I teach about all along the East Coast, Virginia and South Carolina. I've been to Boston and Philadelphia. I love going to famous people's houses, especially presidents, and I've visited Washington, D.C. over 25 times with the students and then with my own family just for fun. I love American history and knowing things about why we are the way we are. So I've always enjoyed that, and I still enjoy that today. And I love teaching that to my students and telling them things that not only are on a curriculum from Ohio, but things that I've learned along the way, things that I've seen, and I really enjoy sharing that. I didn't always want to be a teacher. When I was younger, I used to think I might want to go into the Air Force or be a policeman, but when I was 20 was when I went to college, and I always liked history, and I just thought it would be neat to teach kids about their countries. When I went to college, I was 20 years old, so I was 24 when I graduated, and that was from college, and that was 1988. I started subbing that year. The next year we moved to South Carolina, and I taught there for a year. And we moved back to Ohio, and I worked in the MRDD field at Starlight Industries for 5 years. And then I wanted to get back to public education, so that's when I ended up getting my master's degree, and I taught an MH unit, special education, at Sheridan, at Glenford, Sheridan Northern Local Schools. And then a job came open at Cambridge, at the old junior high school that I went to, and so then I've been here since then. The reason I picked history is just mostly, I had mentioned before, I love traveling and I love going to historical places and historical homes and learning more about history myself. And I like sharing that with my students. When I was little, I honestly didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, so I did go to college when I was 20, and I thought I would like to try to be a teacher. There was a lot of things that was interesting to me about it. I thought the hours would be really great, and they have been. I really love that. I ended up coaching tennis for 12 years. I've got to coach volleyball a couple years. I had a lot of fun with that too. Most jobs you wouldn't be able to do those kind of things. I really like, for some weird reason, I like 8th graders. Most of my colleagues in education that teach younger and older can't stand middle school kids, and for some reason in my own brain I'm like a middle school kid, so I get the same humor. And I've really enjoyed about 25 years of 7th and 8th grade.
My name is Jake Tharp. I'm 7th grade social studies teacher. I originally went to school for petroleum engineering, switched to business, switched to allied medicine, and then finally majored in history and decided to become a teacher afterwards. I attended Cambridge High School, graduated 2007. Originally went to Marietta College, and then transferred to the Ohio State University and graduated 2011. I love teaching about the Romans and the Roman emperors. They have some really great stories. I started teaching in 2013. I went to school for history and then decided to become a teacher afterwards, so that's why I decided to teach history. I actually spoke with a former coach of mine, Coach Eldridge, and he kind of guided me into thinking about teaching and coaching, and fell in love with it and been here ever since.
Mr. Urick, I teach 6th grade social studies. I always wanted to do something in like as a banker because my mom and dad are both work in banks and my grandma worked in a bank. But as I started volunteering with like kids and stuff, I decided I wanted to work with kids, and I thought teaching was the perfect. I graduated high school from Valley Forge up in Parma around Cleveland. I graduated high school in 2016, and I went to college at Ohio Wesleyan, and I graduated in July of 2020. So I liked doing timelines, and I like doing the overarching things about social studies because I think it's fun, because you can really incorporate kids' lives with it. So I think it's super fun to do like the overarching themes of social studies. It's actually my second year teaching. I picked social studies because I don't really like to travel, but I still like to explore different cultures and different places. So I figured that would be a great way to explore different cultures, different places without traveling. So I always liked working with kids when I was younger and volunteering and stuff. So I just thought that would translate perfectly into being a teacher.